Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something that's stirring up a lot of conversation online. The supposed relaxing getaway of Khan Yaman's mother, Goldem, which ended up being anything but relaxing. She went to the Turkish coast seeking peace, the sea, and silence. But what she found was tension. By her side was Sarah, Khan's current partner. Everything seemed perfect: sun, views, rest, until the silences began. From the very start, they say, Goldem appeared distant, cold, almost unreachable to Sarah. Every gesture was loaded with a subtle but unmistakable discomfort. Witnesses claimed the atmosphere was tense. Words were few but heavy. And amidst that silence, the name of Demet Özdemir, Khan's ex, began to echo like a persistent ghost. She was the real one, Goldem supposedly said, making it clear that chapter hasn't been closed, as if the past were still very much alive. Sarah tried to stay strong, smile, and pretend. But it wasn't easy. One especially tense night, Goldem let a sentence slip while gazing at the sea. There are energies you never forget. Sarah, hurt but proud, responded in her own way, with a message on social media that read, "Some temperatures don't warm, they burn." Short but sharp. And just like that, the silent battle shifted to the digital world. Followers were divided, some in support of Sarah, others siding with Goldem, who believes no one can replace Demet. Khan, on the other hand, remained silent, and that silence for many spoke louder than 1,000 words. Was it cowardice, or a desperate attempt not to sever bonds any further? Inside the vacation villa, things grew colder by the day. Dinners felt like lifeless rituals, the nights filled with sighs and absence. It's said that Sarah would lock herself in her room, taking refuge in music and thoughts that perhaps no one will ever read. Meanwhile, Goldem stood firm in her conviction that Sarah isn't the right woman for her son. Even the staff commented on the tension. They simply served food and picked up broken glasses, on the table and, metaphorically, in the hearts. Social media boiled with speculation. Is Demet sending signals? Should Sarah walk away? Opinions clashed like relentless waves. True to her nature, Goldem stayed resolute. For her, sincerity matters more than politeness. A stance that, for Sarah, became an insurmountable wall. A wall that perhaps didn't rise during this trip, but long before. Toward the end, according to close sources, Sarah began to consider returning to Istanbul alone. Some even say she contemplated ending the relationship. Khan, caught between loyalty to his mother and affection for Sarah, faces his hardest test yet. His silence hurts, and that pain is palpable. Meanwhile, the shadow of Demet grows stronger. It lingers in unspoken words, in every sunset, in every glass of wine. The past demands its place, even when the present tries to ignore it. So ends a summer that was supposed to bring peace, but instead turned into an emotional battleground. Another chapter in a story where love sometimes finds no fertile ground to grow, and where the hardest walls aren't made of stone, but of memories that still sting. As much as some insist on reducing Demet Özdemir to simply Khan Yaman's ex, the truth is she stopped being the woman who was with him a long time ago. Demet has built her own path, solid, brave, and clean, far from the noise and obsessive speculations others keep feeding. Because yes, some people just can't accept that a woman, after an intense and public love story, might choose silence over scandal, distance over drama, dignity over nostalgia. I see it every day in the comments. Fight for your love, Demet. Get back together. You two love each other. And I get it. There are memories people hold in their hearts like they're their own. But what moves me most about Demet is exactly the opposite. She doesn't need to scream what she feels. She doesn't need to clarify every rumor or respond to those who criticize her for not looking back. She doesn't respond because she doesn't owe anyone an explanation. And that, in a world like hers, where everything becomes a spectacle, is a beautiful act of rebellion. Some claim Demet has moved on, that she's in a new chapter, happy with another man. And although I'm not in a position to confirm anything, I do sense a different kind of peace in her. Not the fake coldness celebrities sometimes use as armor, but a real calm,
earned through wounds, hard choices, and deep introspection. The way she looks, the way she shows up without overexposing herself, how she chooses her words, all reflect a maturity many don't reach, even with age. It also bothers me to see how some try to attack her, to minimize her, to say she uses her fame or hides behind contracts. Can they really not see everything she's achieved on her own merit? Demet is not just a beautiful actress. She's a woman of character, with values, who has remained standing in an industry that is unforgiving. A woman who doesn't need to cling to the past to stay relevant. And still, no matter how strong she seems, I don't think it's been easy. Because to love deeply, as she surely once loved can, doesn't go away with a click. Because having the world scrutinize your every move, searching for signs, building theories, must be exhausting. And because even the strongest person breaks down at times alone in a room. But she's still there. No scandals, no victimhood, no attacks. Just moving forward, steady, radiant. I know many want to see her with him again. They fantasize about a reconciliation, a movie-like scene where they meet again and everything begins anew. But real life doesn't always work like that. Sometimes love also means letting go. Sometimes real courage lies in continuing your path even if it hurts. And I believe that's exactly what Demet has done. To me, she represents something very different from what the spotlight usually shows. She represents the elegance of silence, the strength of independence, the beauty of a woman who doesn't need to justify her happiness. She may still carry scars inside, like all of us. She may have unfinished chapters deep in her heart. But what she radiates today is a peace that can't be faked. And that, in the midst of all the noise, is worth more than 1,000 words. So no, I don't think we should keep asking whether she'll get back with Can, or judge her for not doing so. We should see her for who she is, a complete woman who has loved, lost, learned, and continued to grow. And if she ever decides to tell her story, it'll be on her own terms, not ours. Until then, we can only admire the way she's turned pain into light, because that, more than anything else, is what makes her unforgettable.